gone according to plan. We should be live on YouTube. Hello everyone and welcome back after a very long break from weekends of Avrona. We are finally back after way too long, but don't worry, there is some very good reasons for it. One, obviously Computex, and then got very busy with other things. I mean, even with the period before Computex, it was very difficult to get a show out, mostly because nothing interesting was happening. Because like everyone was like, let me get the mic a bit closer. There we go. Everyone was saving all of the best stuff for Computex, right? So there was like nothing to talk about pre-Computex, and then after Computex, a bunch of other stuff happened, like had like people visiting and stuff. It was crazy, and basically there was no time until now, and wow, is there a lot of things to talk about since then. Now here's the kind of the funny thing. In the time I wanted to make this live stream, the Steam machine has kind of become irrelevant. One, because of the price, and two, just because of the much bigger story that came out in regards to the PlayStation stopping also like distribution of any physical media in 2028. And so I kind of wanted to do a bit of a stream on that as well, but then I thought about it and I was like, what am I actually going to talk about? Because it feels like there's like nothing I could add. Yeah, it's a very dumb decision, and they're being roasted to hell and back for it. I'm not sure what else I can contribute. I can contribute to my like PS2 games on there to, you know, kind of remind them of back when they were cool. All my beautiful physical copies of PlayStation 2 games I had there. But like that's about everything. So yeah, it doesn't feel like I can add a lot to that debate. I'll probably talk about it a bit more anyway, maybe do like a video, but still, I want to focus on this. Now, if you saw the live streams I did for Prime Day, you may think to yourself, wait, haven't you already done this? And yeah, I have, but I've really done it a dumb way, right? Because when we did the live stream game, the Prime Day game, we only use stuff that is explicitly on sale as part of Prime Day. So a lot of the parts choices maybe weren't optimal, maybe like weren't the best. So I want to do it like properly and actually try and create something for $1,050. So that's the base model without a controller, 512 gig, that really just completely destroys the Steam machine. And I want to keep it to a similar form factor. However, with the recent news, just to spice things up, at least to have some challenge, because like I was saying, it's gonna be very easy to beat the Steam machine in price. Just to have some challenge, I want to pick out a PC that does have a 5.25 inch bay for, you know, optical media, or if not, at least try and fit in an optical a Blu-ray drive in that budget, given the recent news from Sony, because we have to do everything, all that we can to support physical in this day and age. And I've always been a huge fan of it. I mean, I still have an optical drive in my PC, so like if you see anyone slacking on the support for physical media, now is the time to basically remind them of the place in the world. Okay, so let us start. You're probably familiar with this view right here. It's just kind of the basic rundown of everything we usually go through whenever you do one of these streams, but let's quickly switch over to Amazon. And well, first off, let's actually see what we're up against. So in terms of the AMD, this is the GPU they're using. It's an RX 7600M that they're using in the Steam machine. If the name sounds familiar, that's probably because if you watch this channel, you may have remembered when I covered the 7800M. So that was that like external GPU, right? And that only that one weird Chinese company actually does anything with. So this is basically a stepped down version of that. Even Tech Power Up basically rated as, you know, might struggle at 1440p, and they basically say it's about the equivalent of a RX 5700 XT on AMD side, on RTX 2070 on the Nvidia side. So it's far from the best thing in the world, right? And in terms of the CPU, it's if I remember correctly, it's a 6-core Zen 4, so that's Ryzen 7000. And it's kind of basically a custom mobile CPU that it's specifically for the Steam machine. So obviously we don't have like a page for it because it's completely custom. That just gives you a bit of an idea of what we're aiming for. So at least 6 cores. And at least Ryzen 7000, which I think is going to be very easy. So now we can go back to here and we can start. And speaking of, I think let's go straight for the CPU first and foremost. So again, we are kind of just going through like the normal motions here. We aren't doing the whole like only on sale thing because there isn't even any kind of like Steam Day, Prime Day sale, anything going on right now. So we just kind of go for at least 6 scores, which will be a very, very good start. Even just like a 9600X, I think that's going to be a very good starting point. I don't even see if they do a lot of Ryzen 7000 deals anymore. Maybe they don't even do like a bunch of... Oh no, there's like a 7700X, but let's just match the core. Let's just match the cores right now to 9600X. If we are over budget, I will try and see if there's maybe like a 7600X available instead. But let's just focus on this for now. So again, we go through our regular motion. So if you aren't tired of this concept yet, after 3 streams in a row of doing this, you will be probably tired of it now. And then we go back, add it here, boom, price, how much did they say? $180. And we are already kind of going towards our budget of 1,050. Another thing I definitely want to do is peed it on... like I want to match the things like, you know, the CPU core wise. Obviously, this is still going to be much faster, even though they're both 6 core. But the one thing I definitely want to beat is the storage, because the 512 gigs is just completely unacceptable in this day and age. So let's go with a graphics card next, because that's going to be like the thing that's going to dictate a lot of our other budget as well. Again, our aim here is to ooh, wrong button. There we go, cool. So our aim is to beat that 7600M. Again, it's going to be very, very easy. We need at least a 2070. So right here we have a 5060. Again, I know these graphs here, relative performance from Tech Power Up, isn't the greatest indicator, but at least it's something, right? So a 5060, for example. Where is a 5060? I think I scrolled past it. 5060, 155%. So like literally 5x, like kind of, you know what I mean. So it's like another 50% over the performance of this base chip. So that is a pretty nice increase. That's gonna be, it's 8 gig, which is like still gonna be a bit of a bottleneck, especially for 4K. And especially given how, okay, like not everyone will have a 4K monitor. It's great to have extra VRAM so you're not bottlenecked when you eventually upgrade, so it's kind of future-proofing there. However, the thing about a Steam machine is that it's supposed to be a kind of like a console thing. A console is something you usually put in your living room, and your living room PC is most likely 4K. And yes, I know there is DLSS and FSR and XeSS and all of that, but you know, they can only get you so far. And even we've already seen it in the news already. Valve had to like backtrack on a bunch of the claims about 4K performance on the Steam machine because they realized, oh wait, this really underpowered chip isn't great at 4K. Who would have thought? So again, I kind of want to go for like a lower parts first and see how much like space in the budget we have later. I also kind of want to go with something that's also pretty thin. Like something that's SFF ready, certified, like this right here, just so again we can kind of go with a minimal form factor really afterwards. I think a 5060 at the start was like decent enough. There's a 5060 Ti, but that's like almost double the price, so probably not. I'm not happy with going with this, but like let's go 5060 16 gig. Let's see what the difference is there. Is there 5060 16 gig? Am I misremembering? No, there is. Or did they just like already remove, like is it already sold out and they stopped production? Is that the one I don't know. They've been cancelling so many different graphics cards, it's like impossible to keep track of what's cancelled and what isn't cancelled. So I actually can't remember. There has been. I'm not like gaslighting myself, right? There was a 16 gig 5060. Apparently there isn't anymore. So our only options is either pay a lot more for a 5060 Ti, or just focus on a 5060, which will still be quite an improvement, which we'll go for that. And again, if we do have room in our budget left over, then we will do it. Let me just quickly add the fact that it is 8 gig, because that is an important difference. Okay, GPU, this price-wise, $341. So that's like half of a budget gone already. Okay, so when we got the most expensive parts out of the way, apart from the memory, and I want to do memory next. So let's go DDR5 because we're going with a DDR5 CPU and board. obviously. Now the thing, oh man, this is just so depressing to look at every time I come back here. The thing about the Steam machine, right, is that they are including just a single stick of a single DIMM, 16 gigs on a single DIMM. At first, there was some rumors that like some are gonna be like dual DIMM, like 2 DIMMs, 8 gigs each, and then like some will be single DIMM, and you won't know which one you get until you get it, so you could end up with like a slightly slower Steam machine. But then they clarified that no, every single unit is going to have just a single stick. So again, hopefully we'll be able to beat that. 16 gigs for a purely like a gaming PC, something you won't be like doing anything else on, like it should be fine. I know some games are recommending 32 gigs nowadays, but like especially at these prices, it's not something I'll lose sleep over. This right here would be our probably best option, just if we wanted to stay competitive. There's this right here, right? We can split it up into 2 DIMMs. It's going to cost us $50 more. So we might laugh at Valve, and they obviously have some advantages because they're buying wholesale. Like they're big players, they have some leverage. But like even for them, it's very difficult to get these at a decent enough price. And even here, it's like, oh no, whoa. There's the Patriot ones right here. It's just the same as this kit, but it is split over 2 DIMMs, which is what I'd really prefer. For $10 more, I'd happily just get this version. However, I just noticed there is a bit of a disadvantage here. This is CL36 and this is CL30, so these have a lower latency. Ooh, okay. I really don't want to go single DIMM because it is not the biggest bottleneck. It's definitely a bottleneck, and especially if you're playing at lower resolutions, which you may end up playing at something like a Steam machine, you know, it's going to matter. At higher resolutions, where the CPU basically doesn't matter, it's less of an issue. And we're definitely not getting away with 32 gigabytes in this budget, I don't think. And then this is also CL36. Oh, this is a very, very interesting thing, and unfortunately I don't have an answer to it. It's something that you very much have to benchmark. Like, what would have the bigger impact on performance? Having 2 8 gig sticks compared to having a single 16 gig stick, or having CL30 versus CL36 latency. So that is the I won't be able to answer that. Like, this is something you literally have to just test and see for yourself. If anyone wants to like take the best guess in live chat, which one you'd prefer, let me know, because again, if we're like doing properly testing, the difference again will be very, very small, but still, which one you'd prefer? That is the main question here. The thing is, if we go with something like this, I mean, we'd obviously still be able to upgrade in the future, get another stick, and all of a sudden you have 32 gigabytes. So that could still be an option, especially if we go for like a dual DIMM motherboard. If we go for like a more compact ITX one, which I don't know what kind of motherboard we're going for yet, that would make sense. But again, yeah, let me know which one we should go for. Are we going for single stick, single channel, but lower latency, CL30, or are we going 2 by 8 gig, but CL36? I honestly don't know. In the meantime, I'm also going to see if there is anything else, but I don't think there's going to be anything better in terms of price than that kit right there. It's the DW100s. I have a kit of these, not that 48 gig one though, but it's a really nice looking kit of memory. Yeah. 64 gigabytes for almost $1,000. I wanted to upgrade. Like, before things got bad, I was thinking that maybe I'm going to upgrade to 128 gigs, because like for some editing projects it does actually come in useful. However, I've obviously ran out of time, and now it's very much not an option. Theonor Nodo says lower casts. Okay, I think we could go lower casts. You can get yourself... Oh, that's only an 8 gig stick, never mind. What on earth is this? Okay, yeah, speaking of getting myself 128 gigs, that's going to cost me right now almost 3,000 bucks. So that, to be fair, that's across only 2 DIMMs. So that's really high capacity. If I were to go 128 gig, I would have to go, I'd go across 4 DIMMs, which would be a tiny bit cheaper. But again, in this market, and even in this market, that would be just financially ruinous. Okay, so we're gonna go for the lower latencies, but single stick, and you'll be able to always just grab another one of these for another $210 in the future, and upgrade if you wanted to. We have more people joining. Hello, hello, welcome. Yeah, it is extremely pricey. That's the issue. So like the thing about if we go for either this one or the other one, the thing is it doesn't really matter that much because the difference is only $10, right? The difference is only $10, but however, again, I would not be able to tell you. The difference would be so minute, like you probably have to do some really hardcore benchmarking to really see the difference between the two, between a latency difference of 6 and the difference between having just a single stick of 16 gigs versus splitting it across 2 sticks of 8 gig. Apart from that, these 2 kits are basically the same. Prices go down ever, do you think, or is it just the beginning? It's so difficult to tell. I mean, guys like SK Hynix, Samsung, Micron have been telling us that we just have to get used to this. By the way, have you guys seen that they've also been sued? That's been fun. It feels like even if when the bubble bursts, which we've been saying that AI bubble is going to burst any moment now for like 2 years now, and it still hasn't burst. Even then, it's going to take so long for the damage to basically be repaired in the market. Even then, so much has changed. Like guys like Micron shutting down a crucial brand, that's not something you can just start up again. It is such a such a weird scene right now. Funnily enough, I've been like really watching some old live streams, some old like videos, some like almost 10 years ago, just in terms of like PCs in general and PC building live streams and like general kind of videos from that time period. And one thing I found hilarious where people were complaining, oh wow, there's like there's a DDR4 RAM shortage right now and prices have really gone up, huh? If only they knew. If only they knew how good they had it during that shortage compared to this one, where the prices are just apocalyptically bad. I just laugh at our old selves back then, when things were just so much nicer and less dumb. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, let's just go for the lower latency one. It's also going to save us $10, which, who knows, that may be the deal breaker. During one of the primary streams we did recently, I had to repick some of the parts because we were literally $1 over budget, and that was annoying. So yeah, it may only be $10, but it may be the $10 that breaks the camel's back. So hence, you know, for now it's probably worth it to just stick to that. Okay, $210 for a whopping 16 gigs of RAM. Shoot me, and we can get back to everything else. So I have too many tabs open. Let's go PC case. That's going to dictate our motherboard choice more than anything, because I want to go compact PC case. I want to at least try and not beat, but be as close as possible to the dimensions of a Steam machine. People have been complaining a lot about how when some people are trying to beat the Steam machine, replicate a Steam machine in a regular PC, that they go with cases that are too big. But I don't really get an argument, because how tiny must your place be that a case that's just a slightly bigger, right? Even just like a mid-tower ATX, oh, that's like a step too far. Like, I don't know too many people who are just so short on space that just a slightly bigger version of Steam machine is somehow a deal breaker. But just kind of for fairness, just to try and beat it really, let's try and at least go for something that not only is going to, you know, be roughly the same size, slightly bigger obviously, because Steam Machine is extremely compact, but also is going to actually look nice in your living room, which is again probably where we're putting the Steam Machine. So something like this Lian Li A3 right here is really sweet. Actually, that is really nice. This is my first time actually seeing this case. I mean, actually have to ask him to send me one, because that looks pretty awesome. But like I said, I wanted to at least include, like, have a case that has an optical drive, or at least get an external one within the price. Because like I said, it feels like it's the right time. I talk so much about physical media and how much optical drives are still important in this day and age, and why so many manufacturers are just losing out on not putting 5¼ inch bays in the case anymore. However, whenever I've been doing any of these kind of streams, like the ones for Prime Day, I never pick cases with optical drives, because you just focus on whatever is on sale. But again, given all the news coming from PlayStation, I feel like it's a good time to at least include it. We could always go for this FOPO2, which, by the way, I'm finally doing my review of this thing. It's right there. I've shot the review. I just need to like do some more B-roll and some more testing, and I'm done. It's such a cool case. It's such an amazing case. But yeah, there's this right here. Like, if you want optical drives, is that wait, is that what I think it is? Is that like a floppy, like a drive, or is this like one of those hot swappable drive base? I think that is what it is. If that's a floppy drive, that'd be actually incredible. I can't see. I just want to see product details. Features, there we go. Does other special features, dust filter. Wow, like every single case in the past 20 years. Okay, 20 years is a bit too generous, maybe like 15 years. And internal compatible devices, whatever. I don't know exactly what it is, but still, it's kind of hilarious that they still have this. This thing just looks in general like it came from a different time period, like it came from like 15 years ago, and still somehow on sale. Again, if there isn't anything decent with a 5¼ inch bay, then I will just get an external one. But I think it would obviously look nicer if it's integrated. What if I just type in comeback PC case 5¼ inch bay? The problem is that a lot of these just look so ancient as well. Like, this just looks like something Dow would make. Well, I may not make, but it's something Dow would put one of PCs in. And you have stuff like this, which have like two 5¼ inch bays, which is like one too many. This right here is pretty decent. This one from Inwin. Like, it's very compact. Granted, it's $100, but like, I mean, why not? It comes with a PSU already, to be fair. However, it's only 300 watts, so this definitely isn't gonna be enough. This thing looks pretty cool, and again, we also have to kind of worry about a graphics card if we go for something this compact. Yeah, you see, it used with those like small, like really small brackets at the back. So this is for those like really small cards used by guys like again Dow, for example. Steven Anderson says build a PC cheaper than the Steam Machine in small form factor. Let me know which case you actually went for. I'm very curious to hear what kind of specs and especially what kind of case you have there. Again, if there's nothing too amazing with an 5¼ inch bay, we will just go for something else. I remember, who was it? I think it was Cooler Master that had a real nice compact case that also fitted full-size graphics cards and also had a 5¼ inch bay. I think it was Cooler Master, or was it Thermaltake? It had like this very weird mesh front. That's all I remember. If I could find that would be decent. But then I spotted this right here. This looks a lot like the FOPO1, right? So like that retro style one, but like the horizontal build. So it looks a lot like that. However, it uses full-size PCIe brackets, has decent exhaust. Oh yeah, this is totally just an FOP01, but basically just like the non-retro version. Interestingly enough, it also has this, like with an FOP01, that single vertical bracket. Like, what could you even do with a single vertical bracket nowadays? Usually you can do it for, you know, like a graphics card's showcase build. But here, one, you don't really even have like a window to show it off with, and two, how many graphics cards do you see nowadays that are like a single slot? Maybe like some really compact water-cooled ones, but that's about it. But if we could totally go for this. Yeah, it's literally just the FOP01. They even call it a home theater PC. So I think it costs quite a bit though. That's my only problem. And it comes with no. Wait, does it come with like any fans? It does not. Okay, this is my choice for now. If we really need to, we are going to downgrade to something a bit cheaper, because yeah, it's kind of a lot for a case. This would have been really nice if it wasn't too small. Something nearer the $70 price tag would be kind of nice. This is micro ATX, but like again, we're looking for something a bit smaller, kind of like this right here. So let's just go for this. And again, if we have to, we are going to go down to something a bit smaller, to something a bit cheaper. So we can go back here and case. There we go. How much did I say it costs? It costs 117. Our budget isn't looking great, and we still need a motherboard. That's going to be the most expensive part now. Then we're also going to be paying quite a lot for fans. Motherboard. Like, the motherboard itself is going to just be the most basic thing ever. Like, we aren't looking for anything special. We'll just be going for the most basic possible AM5 board here. That at least has some Type-C at the back and whatnot. Some quality of life features, basically. This one right here, it's B850. So it's going to have, I believe, just a single Type-C, and it's only going to be 10 gig if I remember correctly. Yeah. It would be really nice if we had 40 gig Type-C at the back, especially because I don't think the case has front Type-C, which is also, now that I think about it, that's also a pretty big downside to that case. Maybe we revisit it, but still, if we could go with like a decent price X870, that would be amazing. If not, B850 is gonna be just fine. There's this one right here. Oh yeah, one more thing. We have to, not M80C, M80X. There we go. Almost forgot that we're doing a more compact build. How about this one right here from MSI? Again, the main thing I'm just looking for is just Bria IO. This has two Type-C at the back. That is potentially really good, especially because again, we aren't getting Type-C at the front. Right, so it just basically evens out. It's still not 40 gig. However, oh man, yeah, I forgot. MSI is completely just bonkers when it comes to networking generation. This budget board, this B850 board for $140, has 5 gig networking. Who on earth needs 5 gig networking at this kind of budget? Again, for this kind of build we're making right now, that is actually a pretty big advantage, right? Because it means downloading games faster, access to your local network faster. If you want to connect it to, I don't know, like a Plex server or like anything, or your NAS, that is actually going to be a pretty big advantage to have 5 gig networking. And especially one thing I've really kind of appreciated recently is how behind a lot of the kind of places we think of as more kind of technologically advanced, like here in the UK or like the US, are in terms of network infrastructure. I've been recently looking at internet in Poland, and you can get like 8 gig, 10 gig for dirt cheap. And same in countries like, you know, like a lot of like Central Europe as well, and like Switzerland, they have like dirt cheap internet dev from what I've seen, like really, really fast. You know, at least dirt cheap compared to, again, places like the UK. So odds are that there are a lot of people who will be buying something like this who would actually have a 5+ gig connection to the wider internet to actually take advantage of that 5 gig port here. Let's quickly see what people have been saying. My 9060 XT was almost 900 alone. No way I could boot anything for less than 1200 right now. I do have an R5 4500. It uses only 30 to 35 watts and built around that. That's a pretty good little PC there. So I want your guys' kind of take on this. Again, for something that's supposed to act a lot like the Steam machine, kind of just like a PC console home theater kind of thing, would you guys prefer to have something like this, which is cheaper, or do you really think that is so important to have that 40 gig Type-C at the back? Well, I don't think it will be. Like, I don't think it's super important, the more I think about it, to have 40 gig. A board like this is probably the safer bet, because you have 2 Type-C, you have Wi-Fi 7, 5 gig Ethernet. Like, what more could you want, right? So we'll be going for this right here, I think, unless anyone has any objections. Problem is, we are quickly running out of budget. And we still need a lot more. We still don't even have storage yet. That is going to be okay. Do we just go straight for the 512 gig price of the regular Steam machine? Granted, I mean, there's still definitely some things we can downgrade here. We can totally downgrade the CPU. If we get like a 9600X, sorry, a 7600X at a good price, like that would be totally something we could do. I mean, that's not going to save us as much as I hoped. That's literally going to save us $10. But we are probably going to have to do it just to kind of keep things under. And again, that's still going to completely outdo the Steam machine. I think I am going to do that. I'm just going to quickly gonna go here and going to go from this to this. $170. Boom. Okay. So now we can go back and look for some storage. It feels so nice that I just have like all of Amazon to choose from, rather than just having stuff that's just on sale like I usually do in these live streams. What speed is the SSD inside the Steam machine? Is it Gen 4 or Gen 5? Does anyone even know? I actually don't even know. Let me quickly Google Steam machine NVMe speed. It is a Gen 4. It's a Kingston drive, 7,000 megabytes. So okay, I think that should be pretty easy to beat. And again, hoping to at least get more than 512 gigs, because like given modern game sizes, that's like what, 2 games, 3 games, especially given how if you'll be installing something like Windows on this thing, that's going to take a bit more space. If you're installing SteamOS on this thing, I mean, you can, but I don't know. I'd probably just stick to Windows on this thing, especially because Microsoft has been doing so much progress in terms of all of the features to basically allow you to make a custom Xbox, essentially, from your PC. What makes me mad is that you all don't acknowledge how you can just couch play with Steam Machine, like turn on your controller and boom, you can also control your TV volume with Steam Machine. That is something we are slowly starting to get over on the PC side of things, with all of the stuff that Microsoft has been doing with the Xbox launcher, right? So, and especially given the hype, I think that around the Steam machine, Microsoft are going to very much continue to pour a lot of resources to make that kind of basically their own competitor to it as soon as possible. Like, it is very much doable. It is very much doable. We can kind of already do it, and it's only going to get even more seamless, basically. So I don't think it's a very big point in the favor of Steam Machine. You can already kind of do quite a few things to, you know, kind of cheat your way into getting a similar experience if you wanted to. You know, you can like do some stuff in, I believe, the registry editor to like automate login into Windows. Like there are like remote ways of turning on a PC, or even like a waking PC from a sleep state. But even then, again, Xbox interface, what is it called, like big screen experience? I don't know. I think big screen experience is only one part of it. Like the wider thing is called something else. I can't remember what. But that's basically gonna just do everything what SteamOS basically does, from my understanding, at least from where Microsoft are heading with it. We can get something like this, the Crucial P310. It's 1 terabyte, Gen 4. It's technically slightly faster than the Steam Machine one. And it's 177, which is probably the fastest thing we can get on here. There's this one right here, the Kingston MV3. It's slightly slower though. And again, this is about beating the Steam Machine in all the places that it matters, really. And I don't think we're going to be getting a better deal. Yeah, man, it has really gone up as well. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! We can get a Bywin Black Opal NV7400. Again, have one of these. It's a really, really solid drive. I mostly just use it for recording on my Blackmagic, because recording in 6K kind of requires a really fast SSD and a lot of storage. So I mostly use it for that. It's a really decent drive. $150, yes, please. Okay, good thing I scrolled down a bit more. Also, at first I thought this was a stapler. No, it's one of those like external enclosures. But it literally just, the way that it's kind of opened up there, literally just looks like a stapler. Anyway, that's our storage right there, $150, and we're already over budget. Okay, we are going to have to do something about that. But first, I just want to finish everything off first. So we still need a CPU cooler. Ideally something low profile, and we still need a PSU, and we still need fans. Okay, so let's go PSU next. We're going with a 5060. A 750 watt one's gonna be enough. These MSI ones are like the ones that are constantly getting recommended, even in all of the build live streams I do. Like those are usually like front and center as well. Could probably technically get away with like a 560 watt one, sorry, a 650 watt one, but like I don't know, that's a bit too close for me. Sorry, you couldn't see what I was showing you there. I remember during the live stream we saw some like other weird company that I never heard about before, but it turned out like the PCs are actually kind of legit. The PSUs are kind of legit. I can't remember what they're called now. But apparently they were like an OEM or something. So apart from doing a lot of their own PSUs, they also do PSUs for other companies, and those other companies just like slap their own logo on them. I can't remember what they were called now. I'm not seeing them. It's one of those things where if I see it, I'll remember. But I can't see it right now, so I think we are just going to have to stick with that one from MSI. It's also fully modular. Not like it matters for this kind of build, but still. Someone says go with a 9060 XT. We'll do better with Linux. We have to just look at the pricing in a second, because we definitely have to change some things around if we wanna. Granted, this is just like a base unit one, but still, we are $150 over budget. We definitely need to cut something. Again, I wanna. If I can, I want to cut the PC case a bit. Probably cut the GPU a bit. And again, even though like when I said at the start of the stream that I kind of want to do it properly, when compared to like my primary streams, this isn't still how I would usually go about doing it, because we're just looking at one platform, right? No, if I was doing this like properly, then I would also be looking at other websites, obviously. I'll be looking at Newegg. I'll be looking at I'll be looking at, like, I don't know, eBay, maybe even for used parts. In this market, it's probably for one of the best solutions. I could probably maybe downgrade. I'd much rather downgrade the CPU first than the graphics card. I'll say that much. And to be fair, before we decide on a CPU cooler, I need to know if we downgrade the CPU itself. That also kind of changes the strategy when it comes to picking a CPU cooler here, because that, again, depends on the TDP. So the 7600X, I'm looking it up right now, has a TDP of 105. So something like this would be not quite enough. Unless, again, we downgrade the CPU, and that's, okay, yeah. I'm going to do it in that order. CPU, 6 core. Does a 7600 non-X exist? I actually cannot remember. Again, surprise, but I can't remember every single CPU SKU that ever exists. It does exist, it is real. However, it's actually cheaper. It's more expensive than the non-X counterpart for some reason. This is getting a bit more difficult than I thought. We could always try and go Intel. It means we have to pick out another a different motherboard. Oh! Well, would you look at this? There is a deal here. We can get an AIO. That AIO would cost about 50. So if the CPU is like what, $170, that's gonna be around $50 for the AIO. Can we get like a low profile CPU cooler for around $50 or not? If so, that could be worth it to go for that AIO. Why not go AM4? Simply because the Steam machine itself isn't AM4, right? It's AM5. So I at least want to try and keep things on par, or be better where possible. Obviously, if we were to go with AM4, we could also downgrade to DDR4 memory, and that's also going to save us some money. But do we want to do it? And again, it also kind of kneecaps you when it comes to future upgradability as well. I don't know, this whole generation is just so messed up. Do people even care about future upgradability when the parts cost so much? Or do they just care about actually being able to have a PC at all right now, given the prices? It's rough. If we were to go AM4, what could you even go for? It's like a 5500. That's still 6 core. It comes with a stock cooler, but I don't know. That's a bit beneath us. This whole stream is about like being able to actually objectively say this build is better than the Steam machine. And again, if this is a living room PC for a 4K TV, the CPU obviously doesn't matter as much, right? When I upgraded from my FX, so for a while I ran my 1080 Ti with an FX 8350, and then when I upgraded to a Ryzen 3700X, the performance in the gaming performance was like there was no difference basically, just because it's just so GPU bottlenecked. So we could very much go even lower down, but like I want to stick to AM5 if possible. But like I can't even see anything else that Can I filter by socket? No, I cannot. That is very much annoying. Why can't I filter by socket? It just says CPU socket, AMD or Intel. That's... I want to see if there's anything cheaper that we could possibly go for. That's still AM5. And still 6 scores. I mean, there's something like a 5700 right here. It gives you 2 more cores. It's last gen. Again, it's going to save you some money on memory. Let's do a poll, okay? So, AM4 plus DDR4, AM5 plus DDR5. Okay, I made a poll. Do we go AM4 and DDR4, or do we go AM5 and DDR5? Or should I look for some options when it comes to making an Intel build instead? Those are your 3 options. Choose wisely. Your decision will have consequences. Also, what on earth is this I just stumbled upon? What is this, and what does it cost? $45,000 in Amazon. It's just... some CPU module, sealed inbox, 1-year warranty, $45,000. What on earth is this? I'm so curious now. Model, nothing. We have been engaged in this industry for more than 11 years, both offline with 4 branches and online, selling well all over the country. Focus on quality, customer first. We offer more models. Your inquiry is very welcome. Right. I've just stumbled upon something I very much do not understand. This is either a scam, or this is some like automation, industrial data center stuff that I just, probably that sequence of numbers means something to someone. Right now, AM4 is winning. And you know what? Given the current landscape, I'm not blaming you. And again, given how this is a PC that's gonna very much be focused on 4K gaming, we can very much get away with it. Another thing, I just want to point this out, another thing that's gonna very much suffer is the feature set of the motherboard we go for as a result of it. I'm just warning you guys, right? If we go down this path, because we won't be getting as decent of I/O as we did in that. Okay, but the first thing I want to try and save some money on is the case itself. We could go for something like this, Micro ATX. Still doesn't have Type-C at the front, which is kind of annoying. It does have 3 Type-A though. That's something you don't see often. It's one of those that has PSU at the top and doesn't even have a separate ventilation chamber for that. That's not ideal. Get AM5 because you don't want to use your PC for a year or 2 without an upgrade. What's the purpose? So the purpose of this build is basically just to be better than a Steam machine, right? So it's supposed to be in your living room. It's supposed to just be nice, compact, and most importantly, it's going to try and beat the Steam machine in terms of price. That's the main thing. Oh wow, look at this thing right here. Okay, if we really want to save money, like, I know it doesn't have an optical drive, I was like talking about it earlier, but again, we could totally go for an external one. As long as we get an optical drive as part of the budget, I'll be happy. It doesn't have to be internal. It could technically be external, even though again that wouldn't be as you know, nice looking. Like this thing looks so nice. It's really cool. But again, 1, the price, 2, the lack of any front Type-C is a bit disappointing. There's this thing right here. It's gonna save us quite a bit. Still looks pretty decent. Still no front Type-C, annoyingly. Silverstone is really allergic to Type-C. How much does it cost to have even just like the most basic Type-C on the front of your case nowadays? Come on. It comes with some fans already. That's something at least. Oh! Pop Mini! Oh, okay. Yeah, if you don't know, I have the Pop Air as my actual case, my actual PC. I love it so much. It's like one of the only cases nowadays that has a 5¼ inch bay. And I'm so mad that in the Pop Air 2 or Pop 2 Air or however, whatever it is, that they got rid of it. This is going to be a bit cheaper. I mean, it looks amazing. It's a Pop Air. It has front Type-C. Though unfortunately you have to pay, oh yeah, I forgot you have to pay extra for it because Fractal are cheap. Oh, I forgot. Like, we could totally go for that. It comes with 3 fans pre-included. This is going to save us so much. And then again, like, if you really want, oh no, I can't see the back button because the camera's blocking it. There we go. If you really want like front Type-C, you can always just get it from Fractal. So I think we are going to go for this. I know it may be a bit biased because it's like the case they drive, but like, come on. We could go with something like this if we wanted a real throwback. What are cases like this still even doing on Amazon? How many people buy stuff like this? Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be our best bet here. So, unless anyone has any objections, we are going for that. Oh, the FOPO one is also here. Nice. Okay, so let's go back. And let's switch out our case to this right here, which I said costs how much? $97? $94 even. 94. So that saves us a bit right there. We are still very much over budget. Okay, let's have a look. Let's go AM4 6 core and let's see how much money that could save us. To be fair, not as much as I thought. Okay, wait. To 5500 is going to be the best bet here. It comes with a CPU cooler already. It's not going to be the fastest. I mean the best because it's just like a Wraith stealth. But again, like, just to save some money. Let's just quickly switch everything over and see how much it saves us. And AM4 motherboard. Next. $7500F, someone says. Let's see how much a 7500F costs. Okay, yeah. So it's the 7500F is actually more expensive than the 7600X we had already. So that's annoying. Oh, there's also this right here, the 8400F. I forgot about like this weird Ryzen 8000 series that they did. It's still 6 core. Oh, do we go for this? That's going to save us a couple of dollars, and we still get to stick with AM5. Like, I know the poll said AM4. Actually, no, the poll evened out. It's 50-50. Huh. Do we go for this instead? I completely forgot about this. Okay, let's just go AM5 CPU. I only want AM5 here. And let's sort by price low to high. Oh man, I forgot how messed up searching can be on Amazon. Okay, no, this isn't working, so let's just go back. A400F. Yeah, okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Again, you can't see what I'm doing, sorry. There we go, look, $150 for this right here. Actually, no. There's also this one right here. Is this literally the same listing? Or is this is this like an unofficial listing basically? Sold by Empowered PC. OEM bulk packaging. Is this why it's like cheaper? Because it's like an OEM chip that is just being sold generally now? I mean, hey, if it's gonna save us a couple of extra bucks. It doesn't come with a CPU cooler, but hey, I'll take it. $8400F for how much did they say? $130 from this weird OEM thing. Cool. We're still over by a bit, though. We could try and look for something a bit cheaper on the motherboard side of things. I highly doubt we're going to find anything cheaper than that. There's like some stuff we could go for that's B650. How about this one right here? Again, that board from MSI was really cool though, because it had 5 gig networking and it had dual type C at the back. Like this one right here has 2.5 gig, which is still decent, but it has just like 1 type C port at the back. But again, if you have to, you have to. If you want to finally beat Valve, which clearly isn't as easy. But again, if you were doing this properly, you wouldn't just be looking at Amazon, you'd be looking at other websites as well. If you're doing this properly, you probably would be also like looking for use on eBay right now. Okay, yeah, as disappointed as I am that we have to kind of downgrade the motherboard. If we have to, we have to. So we could always just go for this right here, the ASRock P650M Pro RS. The Pro RS is a really good board, just like the standard size one. And it just seems to be continuing on in the MATX side of things. So that's $110. We're still a bit over, but we're making good progress in cutting down. What are we going to cut next? That's the main question. Because we still need to get a CPU cooler in our budget, by the way. And for that, I also need to Google what the TDP is of the 8400F. 65 watts. Oh, so when it says a 7500F is available for even less? Let me quickly look that up. Oh no, wait, yeah. Oh no, that's the one I was already looking for earlier. Yeah, it's 190. So I highly doubt we're going to find a cheaper CPU than this right here, the weird OEM version of the 8400F. We could just go AMD CPU and then go all the way down to here. We have the 5500, 3000G, 3600, 4500, 4100, AMD A series. You guys remember that? You can get yourself an FX 6100 still apparently. Cool, I guess. So yeah, that thing is as cheap as we're going to be getting, I think. This right here. I'm sorry, what are these kind of listings that look straight out of eBay doing on Amazon? Okay, CPU cooler time. Like this thing has a very low TDP, like I said, 65 watts, so it should be pretty easy to do. We technically don't need a low profile one for this, because like of the case itself is decent enough. What do we want to go for here? Or something that's ideally as cheap as possible. It's like a very basic firmware right one. Or do we just go with the classic Cooler Master Hyper 212? The CPU cooler of choice for every OEM out there. And if you're going with an OEM CPU, we may as well go with an OEM cooler as well, just to match. The classic of the classics. We need to somehow cut over $100 from our budget still, guys. I'm going to have another look at graphics cards. It has to be something cheaper than $340. So let's have a look. Try the Cougar Poseidon Elite 240. Is this is that a cooler? Can it play Roblox 500 FPS? Probably. To be fair, I have like no idea what kind of performance Roblox require. Like what kind of FPS you can get in it. I've never played Roblox. I have no idea. Just from the way I know it looks, it's probably not that hard to run. But for all I know, it could have ray tracing as one of the options. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not any kind of expert when it comes to. Oh, do you guys want to go for a Intel card? We could go for an Intel card, guys. There you go, Intel. Again, we could just use this right here for a quick, basically comparison. To be fair, according to this, an A5, oh, that's an A580. Where's the B580? Well, B580 is going to be around here somewhere. Like a 3060, 12 gig, A770. Around that territory, that's where it's going to be. Again, I know this isn't the most reliable thing in the world. It's just like a quick and dirty comparison, so we don't spend forever looking at benchmarking comparisons or whatever. So right now we're paying how much? $340. Let's go down a bit. 3050s, 1030s, 580s, 570s, 550s. Right now, the easiest thing to do to declare victory over Valve would be just to say, I'm doing this for the 2TB model budget, which I can't remember how much it is. I think it's like $1,400. Issue is, then we'd have to also match the SSD to that and get a 2TB SSD. Which, to be fair, if we wanted to be kind of cheeky, if this is our price right now, and a 2TB Steam Deck costs, let me quickly check right here, I have it in my notes somewhere. If a 2TB Steam Deck will cost you not Steam Deck, sorry, Steam Machine. $1,349, so $1,350. There we go. We could totally go for a slightly bigger SSD and then go and say, boom, we've matched it on that end. But again, I feel like that's a bit like it's cheating. You know, someone says go 30, 60, 12 gig. Where would that be on this little performance comparison? Again, don't treat this as gospel. Like I said, it's just like a very quick and dirty thing. It's not much faster, but like still, sure. Again, if we were doing this like really properly, we could beat it a lot easier if we also go to other sources and, you know, spend some time trying to find good deals and whatnot. To be fair, I don't think we'll be even able to beat it with a 3060, because I'm not seeing any good 3060s at a kind of price. You know what? Wait, there's a 3060 Ti. 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 again, that's not gonna save us though. You know what? Valve, you win. This stream hasn't been going on long enough. What we can do is just upgrade to a 2 TB drive and claim victory in a 2 TB category, even if we weren't able to quite claim victory in the like base model category. Again, if we're doing this properly, you could totally find something cheaper on like Newegg or on eBay or like whatever other distributors there are in your country. Scan overclockers, whatever ones are in other countries of the world. I don't know. So what's like the cheapest 2 TB one here? This one's still 40. And I think that's the cheapest one. It's slightly slower though. I at least want to beat Valve there. Because theirs is like 7,000. Oh, okay, no, this is a 1 TB one. I was supposed to say 1400 megabytes per second. That's a lot. Then it's a Gen 5, and it's only 1 TB. So it would be so embarrassing if we can't even beat them now that I've basically, well, not cheated, but basically changed the rules slightly to my advantage. There's this right here, but that costs a fortune. How much do we actually have for this SSD? That's the other question. So we basically have $350, give or take, a couple of dollars. $349 for this SSD. So that's a pretty decent amount to play with. Just so we can actually get something. Again, for the kind of PC that the Steam Machine is, 7,000 megabytes, 7 gigabytes read and write is kind of overkill. But again, it's just for being able to say that we did actually beat them in that regard. So you know what? We are going to go with this WD Black SN7100 2 TB, and we're going to call it a day. This has been one of the longest weekends we've run ever, I think. And I'm still kind of sad we weren't able to beat it in the other category, but in a 2 TB one, we have been able to beat it in price. We have been able to still keep our 5060. We still got a 6-core CPU, that's AM5. We have a very, very good motherboard for the price. Oh, never mind, sorry, we downgraded the motherboard. Oh, okay. Now that we have actually cheated, can we go back and get that other motherboard? Again, I'm cheating. I'm saying it like we've really changed the rules. We haven't. We just kind of slightly changed the goalposts, basically. Can I get this in? Yeah, we can. Cool. I know it increases the price a bit, but we're still cheaper than a Steam Machine. And again, it's just the I/O, and I think you get Wi-Fi 7, 5 gig Ethernet, 2 Type-C at the back, 10 gigs each. So this is the final build. If someone, we weren't far off, right? The main thing that kind of killed us there is some of the pricing on, obviously the memory pricing is one thing that killed us. Another thing that was very difficult was finding a decent SSD. We did beat, even in that original variant, we did beat the Steam Machine in terms of storage from 512 to 1 terabyte, because like I was saying, 512 gigabytes just really isn't acceptable in 2026 for a gaming PC, given how much space they take up. Oh, well, yeah, one of the big points of this was that in solidarity with all of the people who are just going after Sony right now, we're supposed to have an optical bay in here. like an internal drive. I want like an internal one. Does anyone even sell internal? Does no one sell internal Blu-rays on Amazon anymore? There's whatever this thing is for $240. It is external, I'm pretty sure. Wow. Yeah. You can't even get internal Blu-ray drives on Amazon anymore. That is actually so weird to see. Huh. That's kind of depressing. Again, for all that's being said about physical media, you know, stuff like this is still kind of sad, right? And still kind of shows people's complacency. So many people are doing it right. They are buying physical. They are still caring about physical media, but like, this is still kind of sad. And a lot of this is also, don't get me wrong, a lot of this is also on the case manufacturer side of things. Barely any cases have a 5.25 inch base anymore, so it makes sense why you can't even get Blu-ray drives anymore, because people can't even put them in the cases. So I'm putting quite a bit of a blame here on the case manufacturers as well. Don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, I forgot to end the poll we were doing earlier. There we go. Now it's closed. So that's kind of sad to see. But oh well. So yeah, that's where we're going to be leaving it off with. I'm still, you know, somewhat happy given the circumstances, given the current crisis when it comes to memory and SSD prices, given the fact we're only looking on one website rather than doing our due diligence and looking at other websites as well. Like, I think it's decent. I think it's very much decent. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this really long Weekends with Avrona. And yeah, Weekends with Avrona is kind of back now. It's gonna be happening a lot more now that things have kind of returned to normal. Things are gonna get a bit chaotic again in August, but I'm gonna talk about that in a whole separate video, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, that's what it is. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all whatever I make next. Goodbye everyone, goodbye.
It's time to